Thank you for participating in this episode of the Dubb Action Online Summit. Today, we have Victor with us that's going to be talking about mastering the upsell. Victor?
Hey, by the way, Ruben, thank you for having me on here. What I'm going to do is, Ruben said, make sure I give you content, like straight content stuff you can use. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it up a little bit, but I'm going to give you something you can think about and use. I like to think in models. What does that mean is I don't like to remember a lot of things, but if I can remember a model of how to approach something, I become more effective. So today I want to share 3 models with you to make you more effective, not only selling, but upselling or cross-selling. So let's zoom back. Let's ask the first question. When you're talking to a client, every presentation you do has to be tied to value. So here's what I want you to remember, the value trinity. Now, the value trinity are the 3 things that you're going to actually connect to whatever presentation you're doing. For example, when you're talking to a CEO or C-suite level, they want to know how can your product or service, how can increase revenue? Increase revenue, they want to know how you can help them reduce costs or how you're going to help them expand their market share. Now, keep this in mind that if your presentation doesn't tie into any one of these 3 or all 3, then you're not really selling value. You're just talking, you're just presenting. So keep this in mind. Ask yourself that question right now. Am I connecting to increase value, again, increase revenue, reduce cost, and expand market share? That's the key. So that's the first model. Now you have the value model in place. Model number 2. Listen carefully. I don't care who you are, what business you're in. There's only 4 ways to grow your business. That's it, 4 ways. Let's go through them. I'll draw out the grid in model number 2. The first strategy to grow in your business is to go out and gain new clients. Prospecting, gain new clients. Strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is gain. How about retain? What if you can retain your existing customers? Did you know that if you simply retain 5% of your customer base, in other words, reduce churn by that amount, your profit margins will be impacted somewhere between 70 to 90%. Why so high, you ask? Because think of it, there are no cost of sales. It's all pure profit. So just a retention strategy will help you grow your business. Let's look at strategy number 3. Grow. Ooh, I love this one. Ooh, this one gets me excited. Grow. How do you grow your existing customer base? In other words, as Ruben mentioned, when we talk about upselling and cross-selling, you're actually selling to your existing customer base. But let's walk through this slowly. They're already buying from you. So you've built trust and credibility. Number 2, there is no real sales cycle because you've already sold to them. So you shorten the sales cycle. Keep that in mind because I'll come back to that later. Number 3, what happens because you're upselling and cross-selling? Again, the sale becomes that much easier. Did you know, depending on which study you read, but my favorite is, did you know that you can increase your sales by up to 30% by selling to your existing customer base? Think about that. Shorter sales cycle, trust, credibility already built, but more importantly, cost of sales through the floor because you've already sold them. Strategy number 4. Let's go to reactivate. Oh, reactivate's an interesting one. Most people ignore this strategy. And that is, these are customers who haven't bought from you in the last, let's say, 6 months to a year. What if I go back and reconnect with those customers? Now, in this one, what I would recommend on the reactivate piece, I would get together with marketing. And what I would want to do is with marketing and sales combined, says, what can we do? What type of promotions can we put together to get people back into the buying fold, so to speak? So you have 4 ways to grow your business. Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Pick 1, maybe 2, but be very specific. Are you looking to grow your business through acquiring new clients? Now, this is a challenge today, right? Getting clients to change, especially from a competitor, is hard, but also you have a high cost of sales. That's an issue. Retention is easy. We can work with that one. We can figure out how do we become more effective with our customers and how do we make it easier for them to buy from us. Number 3 is the growth strategy. Upsell, cross-sell your existing customer base. And number 4 is, can I reactivate? My question to you is, what strategy are you currently deploying? If you say all 4, I think you're missing it because it takes focus to be successful in any one of these to really put a marketing strategy around them. So this is a macro view of how to grow your business. But now, let's get real specific. Let's talk about how to grow your sales specifically. And guess what? Shock, surprise, not the first time. There's only 4 ways to grow your sales. I'll show you. 4 ways to grow your business, and there's only 4 ways to grow your sales. That's it. So I have something called the Sales Velocity Academy. For more information, just go to salesvelocityacademy.com. You can find it. There's an equation, a sales velocity equation that goes like this. Here is the sales velocity equation. You take the number of opportunities, which is really your pipeline. You multiply by your closing rate, your conversion rate. You then multiply that by your average deal size divided by your sales cycle. That will give you your velocity, how fast you're selling. Now, there's many ways you can measure this, but I would suggest measuring it monthly. What's our velocity each month? So let's kind of put some numbers to it, because sometimes you got to get empirical with the thing. You got to put numbers on it. Let's say, for example, that we have in our number of opportunities pipeline, we have 10 big deals in there. Keeping it simple so the math is easy. 10 big deals, all right? Now, your conversion rate, well, let's say that's 0.4% or 40% rather, 40% close rate. So it's 0.4. Then let's say your average deal size is, let's keep it simple. Let's call it $10,000. Yeah, I like 10,000. It's really round. $10,000. So your average deal size, in other words, on average, when you close a contract, it's about $10,000. Now, your sales cycle, time it takes from initial contact, let's say, to closing the actual sale is 30 days. Let's put 30 days right there. Now, I'm not going to calculate this for you. You can do it. But once you calculate this, you'll figure out what your sales velocity is, right? Now, this is not the good part. We're going to get to the good part in just a bit. Now, if you only have 4 variables to work with, I'm an engineer by trade, so I like variables, right? I got a 4-part variable equation here. Now, what if I focused on each of these variables and increased them? Did you know that if I increase, I'm going to use blue here, that if I increase the number of opportunities, people in my pipeline by 10%, just 10%. Now, instead of 11, I have 11 deals in my pipeline, 10% growth. What if I can actually increase my close rate by 10%? Oh, now we're at 0.44, right? What if I increase my average deal size by 10%? Oh, now we're at $11,000. And what if I reduce, because we want to reduce sales cycle, everything in the numerator, we want to increase. Everything in the denominator, we want to decrease. What if I decrease that by 10%? Well, that would put me at 27 days. Did you know that if you do the numbers on these things, let me see what number, I'm going to use red, but red for emphasis. Did you know that if I increase the number of opportunities in my pipeline by 10%, increase my conversion by 10%, increase my average deal size by 10%, and reduce my sales cycle by 10%, my sales will grow by 47%. Yeah, 47% here. I'll give you a close-up of that equation. Right? 47%. You can run the numbers on your own. Now, last part, closing this out. So what if we can actually do that? Great. Here's the problem. Sometimes when you try to do all things, you do none of the things. So let's go blue ocean. All right. What do I mean by that? I'm going to give you what I call the battery exercise. Here's what I want you to think of. I want you to draw this out. Draw a battery, so to speak. We're going to call this the negative side of the battery, something I came up with here. And I'm going to call this, let's go with green. Green is more positive. I like green because green represents money plus right there. The positive side, the negative side. Then what you're going to do, divide that like that. Now listen carefully because this is important. What if you and I sat down, you or your teammates, you or your colleagues, you or your cohort sat down, and what if we said, hey, you know what? Let's look at the positive side of things. What do we need to start doing? And let's say that the first thing we want to focus on is increasing the number of opportunities, which is prospecting. What should we start doing? That's an exercise for you. And maybe you can come up with 3 things you need to start doing. Now, there's another category. Maybe you want to start doing this, but there's maybe sometimes you are doing something. You just need to do more of it. What are certain things you're doing today correctly that you should do more of? Oh, let's write 3 of those down. Now, let's go over to the negative side. You know what's over here. The things that you need to what? Stop doing. What are some things that you need to stop doing? Like, I need to stop doing that. That's not helping me. Like checking social media too much, checking your emails too often, socializing too much. You get the idea. Figure out things. Maybe it's from a marketing standpoint. You need to stop doing certain things. Maybe Google Ads isn't working. Maybe you need to do more search engine optimization. Maybe cold calling is probably more what you should do as opposed to just sending out emails. Maybe I need to do less of that. So what are 3 things that you're currently doing? You don't want to stop, but you want to shift your attention and do less of it. So for example, if you feel that your emails are not getting through, you might want to shift or make a blend towards maybe some cold calling or other type of outreach program via social media, whatever it may be. Now, what if you just focus on creating this battery just for the number of opportunities? Brainstorm with your team, right? Stop the exercise, find the best of the best, solutions, ideas, and start implementing them. Then you repeat the same process. After you do number of opportunities, how do we increase our conversion rate? What are the things we should start doing, do more of, stop, do less of? Then average deal size. You get the idea, right? Sales cycle. What do we need to start doing, do more of, stop, do less of? You get the idea? Closing it out right here. Let's put it all together now. Let's put it all together. Because here's where it becomes very important. Again, it's all about focus. What if month 1, let's call this month 1, you just focus your battery opportunity, right? Your battery exercise on just, let's say, number of opportunities. Month number 2, you focus on average deal size, right? Month number 3, you focus on conversion rate. And month number 4, you focus on your sales cycle, right? What if every month you focus just on one thing? Because again, when you try to focus on too many things, you're not going to do it. But by focusing in on one task every month, you're going to be more focused and you're going to start seeing things you didn't see before. You ever go buy a new car for the first time? You go buy a new car for the first time, right? And what happens? The next day you get on the highway, what happens? You start seeing your car. Why? Did everybody last night go out and get the same car? No. Were there pixie dust sprinkled all over the highway? No. What happened? The reason you saw it because you have it, now you see it. It's like this when it comes to generating ideas. Once you focus in on your car, your idea, you begin to see things you haven't seen before. Now, this begs the question. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You say, well, Victor, what do I do after month 4? Repeat the cycle again. 3 times a year. But every month, what if you told your team every month, we're going to focus on this task? Increase conversion rate, closing rates. That's what we do this month. And that's all we focus in on. And I think you'll be surprised at what you'll find. So let's do a quick summary, shall we? I first talked about the value trinity, right? People want to know how you can help them increase revenue, reduce costs, or expand market share. That's it. That was number 1. I also told you there's only 4 ways to look at growing your market, right? Gain new clients, retain, grow existing, or reactivate. Simple model to remember. And then number 3, again, 2-part series, you got the sales velocity equation. There's only 4 ways to grow them, right? We talked about what? Average deal size. We talked about, I'll put sales cycle over here. We talked about number of opportunities, and we talked about conversion rate. Month 1, month 2, 3, 4, you get the idea. That's it. That's your battle plan. That's your plan going into the market. But don't forget that with this right here, for each one of these, I want you to create a little battery exercise that will help you, guide you, and begin to figure out, what do I need to do? What do I need to start doing, stop doing? Again, you get the idea. Ruben, I'll hand it back over to you.
Victor, thank you so much for that presentation. Extremely interactive, extremely educational. Thank you so much. I have some specific questions for you.
Let's do it.
One of the things that you mentioned was upselling, activating our existing client base. And the reason why it's valuable is because there's a minimal customer acquisition cost. We already have trust. We already have rapport. Sometimes if you're a software company, you have the credit card on file, right, with Stripe or your provider. Now, my question for you is that one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs, sales, marketing folks do is they say, I'm going to discount. Okay, I'm going to go to my existing client base and I'm going to say, hey, you have not converted. So therefore, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a deal. We're going to give you 20% or 50% or even more sometimes off of our product or service.
Right.
And there's kind of two tranches on this whole philosophy. Philosophy one is don't discount because you it's a whole challenge. It's a slippery slope. You can't win on price. And then the other is, hey, people respond to incentives. This is economics. This is economics 101. Just so you know, from a sort of a brand choice at Dubb, is we don't do a lot of discounting, because ironically, if you look at the numbers, the more people spend, the better ROI that they actually get.
There you go.
So it works out for us. But I'd love to understand your take on that.
So, I read a book years ago, dating myself. Matt Cannon wrote a book called Consultative Selling. And Matt Cannon said this: discounting is the ignorance tax you pay for not knowing your value. That one hit me right between the eyeballs, because if you don't understand the value, you don't know how to position the value, increase revenue, reduce costs, or expand market share, then you're not selling value, you're selling on price. So you want to position your value, not your price. That's the layup, right? But the reality is people do respond to a discount. So let's kind of also be honest about that, right? Because I've seen it. People respond to a discount. So I'm going to split the difference here, Ruben. And I'm going to say, here's what you need to do. You need to label your discounts. Let me talk about this strategy. It's a fascinating strategy. When you give somebody a discount, they keep expecting the discount. That's the Pavlovian conditioning effect, right? It's like ding, salivate type of thing, right? They're going to keep expecting a discount. But something happens when you label a discount. When you label a discount and you give it to somebody, you can actually pull it back. For example, have you ever noticed all these sales that are going on? It's a Memorial Day sale. It's a 4th of July sale, whatever. They give you a reason. And then what they're saying is only during this time period can you get the discount. Now, the problem with that is obviously that we wait for Memorial Day. We wait for the 4th of July to actually give the discounts. So I'm all about labeling the discount because I can take them back as soon as I want. But the problem is that we have to face the reality. People like discounts. Now, I don't like playing with the numbers, Ruben. I don't like jacking up the price to discount them back at the regular price they would have gotten. So I'm torn. If I'm selling B2B, I am for sure telling you right now, I don't feel like discounting. I'm kind of like, I'm not going to discount. In B2C, I believe you have to have a more flexible approach in terms of discounting. Because remember, even if I discount, if I have an upsell strategy, let's say some type of funnel where I can actually escalate the value, then what I'm going to look at, Ruben, is I'm going to look at the client acquisition cost, which you've talked about, the minimum client acquisition cost. But also, let's look at the lifetime value. See, one of the things I like about what's happening today, you know this because you look at data a lot. I can figure out what my lifetime value for a customer is. For example, Starbucks uses a 20-year period to calculate their lifetime value. So my question, if you're going to discount, what I would ask myself is I need to get them into the funnel, get them to buy the initial product. But then I want to see what strategy I have after that to keep moving up the value ladder. So if we have to discount, let's have a value ladder right behind it. How's that for a cop-out answer?
I know, appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense. I really appreciate how you kind of compartmentalize the offers. That way people don't get into that mindset of continually expecting them.
Correct.
It's like going to the 99-cent store and there being a product for $20 and you're saying, what's going on here? Everything's supposed to be 99 cents.
Yeah, it said from 99 cents.
Right, exactly.
You feel like it's a bait and switch, right? It's like a bait and switch. But what I've noticed is, because we use it for our online academy, is that we use a lot of periodic discounting, right? Sale, the label, the discount, but it's really the upsell value afterwards that is not defined in many cases. I don't know what number of you've seen, but I've seen that at least 80 to 85% of companies do not have an upsell strategy after they sell certain products in the B2B space.
There it is. We are inspired by this. We are continually at Dubb. We are continually looking for ways to provide value. And, as a result, we've actually launched our add-ons and our marketplace section, which I'm going to be announcing actually in 2 days. So I can't wait to do that. So I'm going to take a lot of this inspiration from you as we kind of package this up. Now, you have an academy, you have a program. I'd love to learn more about that.
So the Sales Velocity Academy, which is based on this philosophy of the equation, what I did is I created an academy. Right now we have, I think, about 60 courses with over 500 videos. I think it's probably the most comprehensive sales learning management platform out there. We've licensed it to many companies. And again, it depends on what you need. You can go into the Sales Velocity Academy, and I'm glad you're there on the website, and you can scroll through it and see that there are different levels. So if you're a beginner, great, we got some courses for you. Now, right here, Ruben, what you're showing here are the 8 Ps. Are you interested in prospecting? Then we got courses for you. Do you need a sales process? Product IQ, which is about product knowledge, right? Persuasion, that's probably my favorite, right? It's all about influence and persuasion. How do you get people to buy into what you're selling? Pricing, that module right there, the courses under there are all about how do you position pricing. Right there, Ruben, I'm just going to pause right there. Just that module alone on pricing is worth the whole academy. Because once your people know how to position pricing, I'm telling you, I will show you strategies that most people won't teach you on how to just simply position price. PMA, the positive mental attitude, stay motivated. Promotion is how do you market yourself. And then, by the way, the other second P that I think is important is presentation. And this is where I see a lot of people fall down, Ruben. And by the way, when I say presentation, I'm not just talking about the PowerPoint. I'm also talking about when you demo a product. Because every presentation has a process. And most people don't understand that philosophy. How do we reduce resistance while we're presenting? How do we reduce that? Let me think about it. Let me get back to you. Let me talk to my boss. And I ask these questions all the time. And so they're powerful courses, and you should check them out. It's not that expensive. I even got a forever price. How's that?
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And then where can folks learn more about you?
VictorAntonio.com. It doesn't get easier than that, man. How's that?
There it is. And then your active social channel is LinkedIn, YouTube, all the above?
All the above. You just type in Victor Antonio. I'm that popular, Ruben. I am that.
And there it is. There it is. Well, Victor, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. This will be published on the Dubb Action Online Summit website. Thanks again.
Thank you, Ruben.